What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, before we go ahead and get started, welcome to everybody who is new. Thank you, God, for giving us another day, an opportunity. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now, anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, man, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications. Hit that like button. I'm trying to get this video to 50 likes. Be sure to share it with your family and friends. And last, but definitely not least, go ahead and comment down below right now. Where are y'all tuning in from, watching today? And as y'all can see by the looks of the title and the screen, I'm going to be bringing y'all 3 more of the top and best Catfish builds to use on NBA 2K22 current gen. So the first build that I got lined up for y'all today is going to be called the Rebounding Guard. But with this build, we're going to be able to get contact dunks as well as pro dribble moves. And I'm telling you, with this build name, easily one of the most rare and best builds to use when it comes down to the rare build metas. So when it comes down to it, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of what this build is going to be looking like for the attributes. Now, all y'all need to do is make sure that you follow along with each and every individual stat, so that way we are able to maintain the build name, get all of the animations that I want to help y'all unlock, and also making sure that you are making the best rare builds possible. So coming up with this build, I'm going to max out my close shot, driving layup, as well as the driving dunk. That's going to give us 6 finishing badges right here. Then once we go ahead and get into the shooting, max out your mid-range shot, your 3-pointer, free throw, and go with the 50 post fade. That's going to give us 9 shooting badges. Then for the playmaking, go with the pass accuracy of 79, 85 for the ball handle, and we're going to be able to get 17 playmaking badges. Now, once we go ahead and get into the defensive end, this is where things are really going to wrap this build up and make it complete. As you can see, a total of 15 badges, and we do get pretty well balanced in all areas of this build, especially on the defensive end. So from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the height. What you want to go ahead and make this build out of is going to be 6'7". Now, I have brought y'all a 6'8" version of this build before, but it is completely different with what this build is going to be able to do compared to the previous. Now, for the wingspan, if you want to get the contact dunks, make sure you go with the wingspan of 89.0. And as you can see, with that 81 driving dunk at 99 overall, that means we're going to be able to get all of the contact dunks. And also, with an 80 ball handle being a 76 right now, once we get that +4, we are also able to get the pro dribble moves. Now, the defensive end is going to get much better. As you can see, if we do get that lockdown takeover, this is only going to make the build that much more better. But then we get the slashing, which we already have unlocked contact dunks. Then we got the shot creating and the playmaking takeover. For my liking to be more toxic, go with the lockdown takeover. And as y'all can see, we were able to create the one and only rebounding guard build. Now, this is only the first Catfish build that I'm bringing to y'all today. We still have 2 more remaining, and I'm telling you, the build names as well as what they're going to be able to do are only going to continue to get better. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the power forward position, and with this build, what it's going to be called is the point power forward or the PowerPoint forward. Either or, these are definitely gonna be some of the most rare and unique builds that we're gonna be able to use when it comes down to current gen. So with this build, what makes it that much more of a Catfish is this is a point forward made out of the power forward position, but we're able to still maintain the elite pro dribble moves as well as getting the contact dunks. Now, the only thing that I would have to recommend, make sure that you go into your settings before making this build, go into your units of measurements, and all you need to do is change the units of measurements from the imperial system to the metric system, or the metric system to the imperial system, whichever way you want to go about it. But let's go ahead and get into the making, man. Start with the power forward position. Then from here, everything that takes into account on this build when it comes down to the height, weight, and wingspan, especially the pie chart and even the physical profile, are all going to be an essential factor of this build. So from here, as you can see, we're going to look at the breakdown of the pie chart, and remember, you are able to make multiple builds out of different pie charts as well. So if you have made this build previously, go ahead and let me know. What have y'all thought about the version that I'm bringing y'all today, as well as let me know what is different from the versions that you have seen of my builds compared to what I'm bringing y'all, as well as what other people put out. Now, with this one, I'm going to go with the speed of 74 when it comes down to the physical profile, 71 acceleration, then from here, we do get a 67 vertical. Now, we're going to go ahead and start out with the playmaking on this build. For my liking, I'm going to go with the 75 pass accuracy, 67 ball handle, and then when it comes down to the post control, go with an 85. Now, from here, things are only going to continue to get better. So, for the finishing, make sure that you go anywhere from 10 to 12 badges, and honestly, as long as you upgrade your driving dunk to the max, we're going to be able to get the contact dunks on this build. Now, for the playmaking, that's going to be paired up pretty well with the defensive end, and honestly, all around, I really feel like this build is going to maintain everything that you would want a Catfish build to use. So, for the body shape, basing it off of my preference, I would go with defined, burly, or built. Once we go ahead and get into the height, this is where things are going to play a huge factor of this build. So what you want to go ahead and do, go with the height of 2.01 meters. Now, for the weight, this is completely optional as well. But for my liking, I want to be able to create a build with the maximum speed possible. So for my liking, I'm going to go with 81 kilograms. Then for the wingspan, what you want to go ahead and do, go with 216 centimeters. Or if you want to go ahead and lower it to get better shooting stats, you definitely can do so. Anywhere from around this range all the way down to 208 is going to be perfect. And right there, as you can see, we get the playmaking, post scoring, slashing, and the shot creating takeover. Now, as always, remember, feel free to make your own adjustments to every single one of these builds, even if the build name does change. As long as you feel comfortable with what you're going to be working with, I promise you everything is going to work out. But imagine this build with a post-scoring takeover, going to be very toxic and even more of a Catfish build. Let's go ahead and check out the build name, and as y'all can see, we were able to create the point power forward, and I'm really liking the comparison of Jason Tatum. Now, we have one final build remaining, and before we do get into the actual making, we're already more than halfway through the video, and some of y'all have not hit that like button. So if you are still tuning in, man, be sure to comment down below, where are you watching from today? Out of the builds that I have dropped y'all so far, which one is your favorite? And last but not least, man, y'all better go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new. Be sure to turn on post notifications because I'm uploading every single day, and I do not want y'all to miss. And especially when it comes down to it, I want to be able to grow the Rich Gang family as much as I possibly can. And coming up at number 3, as y'all can see by the looks of the title and the screen, I am bringing y'all the one and only stretch rebounder build, but this build is actually going to come out to be called the pure rebounder. So the reason why I'm calling it a stretch rebounder is because this build is going to be able to play elite defense as well as hit just as consistently as any other stretch big you have ever seen. Now, let's go ahead and get started by putting this build under the power forward position. Once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of the pie chart, you have to be very specific with making this exact version of this build that I'm bringing to y'all today. So go with the one split right down the middle with the green and the red pie chart, the shooting and the defense. Then once it comes down to the physical profile, this should be based off what you feel most comfortable with. But for my liking, I'm going to go with the one with a 68 speed, 65 acceleration, and a 74 vertical. Now, to get started, we're going to go ahead and get after the defensive stats first. So as you can see, I'm maxing out both my offensive and defensive rebound. Max out your block and steal. Same thing with the lateral quickness, same thing with your interior defense, and the highest we can go for the perimeter defense to maintain the rebounder name is a 62, but we do get 21 total badges right here. Now, once we go ahead and take a look at the shooting, I'm maxing out my mid-range shot, the three-pointer, free throw, and then finally I'm going with the 55 post fade. Now, that's going to leave us at 15 shooting badges. Once we go ahead and get into the finishing, I'm maxing out my standing dunk, the driving dunk, driving layup, and also the close shot, and we're going to be able to get 9 finishing badges. Now, we did not touch the playmaking because this is going to be more of a bigger type build. Now, what I mean by that is you're going to be able to play big with this build. Not really going to be looking to dribble too much, but when it comes down to the defensive end and the offensive end, you're going to be able to really hold your own, especially if you're running with the correct teammates who have vision with the ball. Now, when it comes down to the height, go with 6'7". As for the weight, this is optional, but to be the most and fastest possible, I would go with somewhere around the lowest weight all the way up to the 191 range. As long as you like the numbers when it comes down to the physicals, everything's going to work out. And not to mention, we are able to get park dunks on this build as well, which means we're going to be able to use some of the better animations when it comes down to dunking in style. Now for the takeover, we get the slashing, also going to be able to get the sharpshooting, rim protecting, and the glass cleaning. Now to throw people off, you can definitely go with the sharpshooting or the slashing takeover. Even the rim protecting would be solid. I'm going to leave it up to y'all, but let's go ahead and check out the build name. And as y'all can see, together we have created the third Catfish build, the pure rebounder. And if you made it to the end, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Shout out to OG Taylor Made and a few of the other real ones that have been tuning in every single day. I love y'all and I thank y'all. And man, let's go ahead and get 50 likes on this video. Be sure to turn on post notifications. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. And with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.